Holy crap, Bitcoin's really doing something. It's making a move. Taking a look at Bitcoin. What is going on? Cryptocurrency. Is this the beginning of the next big bull run in cryptocurrency? Talking about it right here in this video, so make sure you stay tuned. What's going on, guys? Patrick here today talking about Bitcoin once again, bouncing off of that $35,000 level up to a high of almost $45,000. All right, so we pull up the chart here on Bitcoin. This is the daily chart we're looking at right now. You can see Bitcoin bouncing really strongly off of this $35,000 level. We talked about this before, this overall upward trend that we're in right now, this trending channel. The issue that we have going against us is we have a lot of resistance at this area. A lot of resistance at the $45,000 to $46,000 level on Bitcoin right now. And the question is, can Bitcoin push above it? One thing that I do want to point out today is that the SPY today is red. It's down 1.2% right now. It was down deeper than this. The SPY looking very much like it wants to do this move, right? Like we talked about yesterday, wanting to retest this area down here at the $412 to $400 level there on the SPY. So looking very much like that. But what I want to point out here is the SPY is red on the day, and well, Bitcoin is still green, green, green. We did see a pullback from that $45,000 level. We already talked about that resistance at that $45,000 level, pulling back down here to $43,000 right now. The thing is, obviously, we're going to probably expect some type of little bit of a pullback here. We can create a base. Looking like that $43,000 area right now is holding as support. So $43,000, $42,000, if it can hold at that level, that'll be very bullish to set up for a move higher there. Why did that go? So the idea is that with Bitcoin kind of pulls back here, it channels for a little bit, we go sideways, and then finally we break out to the upside and break above that resistance. So looking at the daily chart here, pull back here to this level, this $42,000 level. The EMAs then turn into massive support at that point, and we get going again. The problem, like I said, is there's obviously that resistance there on the chart. But if we zoom out, look at the bigger picture here, you can see this overall channel pushing Bitcoin higher right now. So the question is, does Bitcoin kind of go and want to break to new highs above that $72,000 level and maybe push to $100,000 by the end of 2022? It's a very high possibility. Speaking of spending cryptocurrency, if you guys haven't checked out crypto.com, they have a Visa card. You can actually use it right through your app. You can sign up for it, and then you can use the Visa card anywhere that they accept Visa, and your cryptocurrency can be tied to that, and you get a benefit, a 8% back on all spending with your sleek pure metal card with the crypto.com card. So check them out, crypto.com. Now let's talk about what I think is contributing to this move in cryptocurrency right now. So we have all this stuff going on with Russia and Ukraine and problems with people in those areas not being able to get their money out of those countries, not being able to get their cash out of the banks. And what this is leading to is, I believe, people are buying cryptocurrency, they're buying Bitcoin, they're buying other cryptos that they can put money into and at least have some type of value, and they can trade, people for different things where they live at and have some type of monetary cryptocurrency. They have Bitcoin, something to hold value, where their currency is just getting demolished. So the Russian ruble right now is getting demolished. A lot of countries are going to stop interacting with different companies and businessmen that are dealing with Russia. So there's a lot of stuff going on with Russia right now. But how do you get around all of that? How do you get around dealing with the US dollar, with the SWIFT, with the banks? Well, you use cryptocurrency, and that's exactly what I believe is happening. That's why we're seeing this massive rally in crypto right now, not just because of the overall just technical analysis of it. I would say people in the eastern area of Europe are really looking to buy Bitcoin, and this is creating a fear that's kind of going across the world. People are starting to think like, wow, look what happened to Russia. Look what happened in Ukraine. People can't get their money out of the banks. Their currency is worthless now. What are they going to do? They end up at least buying Bitcoin. They've end up buying cryptocurrency that there is that value. Today, Bitcoin, it's still up on the day 1.4%, while the overall market is selling off. So good to see that Bitcoin can have a green day when the overall market is red. We don't want to always see direct correlation, but obviously with a risk-adverse asset like Bitcoin, you're going to get those pullbacks when the overall market gets pullbacks, because it just sets a tone, right? If the overall market's crashing, people start to get fearful. People think they're going to take their money out of Bitcoin because they think that, I want to hold dollar bills instead of my bank account. and I don't want to just hold this magical money on the internet. So I think that's kind of the macro idea here of why Bitcoin is making the move that it's making right now and the world that we're living in. You get a lot of, you think, like, there's some really, really rich people out there in Russia, you know, millionaires, billionaires that need to move their money quickly and fast. They're going to do it through buying cryptocurrency and then transferring cryptocurrency around the world. They can do that very simple and easily. They can get around all of the borders, the sanctions, and all of that. So the war in Russia, I think, really is, or the war, or whatever's going on over there with Ukraine. I don't know if we call it a war. Do we call it an invasion? Do we call it an occupation? Whatever it is, we can see that there has been a correlation between the fear of the monetary issues with Russia, with their currency, and now people looking at Bitcoin as like, hey, maybe Bitcoin's a good option to be able to get my money out of Russia into other places where most places in the world now you can basically use cryptocurrency, especially with different credit cards and different apps and things like that. So very interesting to see that during this time, during this uncertainty that we're living in, we've seen a massive move in Bitcoin. So looking at the weekly chart, you can see massive move on Bitcoin bouncing off of this level. We pushed all the way up to this resistance. So now the question is, can we break above this resistance? If we can break above this resistance, I believe that we can really get going here. And the next resistance being 52,000. And then after that, you know, you're looking at what, 60,000, and then up here to almost $70,000 for Bitcoin. But look at that move. I mean, we've had a massive move in the last week or so, basically a 30% move in Bitcoin in the last few days or weeks, or about a week now, I would say. So massive move in Bitcoin. It's going down. It's happening. What should we expect here in the future? I think it really comes down to what happens with Russia and all of that. At the end of the day, this is a good eye-opener for a lot of people out there that are looking at cryptocurrency. Like, maybe crypto is a good asset to have in case, you know, the shit really does hit the fan and we really do have a lot of issues with not getting money out of the banks and not being able to use our own currencies. So Bitcoin really booming right now, and I think a lot of that comes down to what's going on in Russia. But looking here at the weekly chart, what we got going on right now, we have this overall trend. We got this new, I would say, almost higher low there. Well, I guess it is a higher low, basically. That higher low off of this area. So looking back here in 2021, Bitcoin pulled back to this level. It then marched higher up to this. So if we can get a repeat performance here on Bitcoin, well, that would put us up here at the $70,000 level next. If you guys haven't already, do me one big favor, hit that like button, subscribe button, all the buttons down below. I will talk to you guys later on.